In our previous video, War on Truth, we highlighted how the BBC faked a news clip titled, "The F1 Drama Between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen Explained." This fake news clip relied heavily on David the Toad Coulthard, telling a bold-faced lie about Marcy having the authority to rig the result, and Andrew the Slimeball Benson, pretending that the BBC was unable to determine that the Toad was lying. The irony of the self-appointed champion of fact-checking, and self-proclaimed source of trusted news, shamelessly indulging in faking news, appears to have been lost on the BBC. Or perhaps they believed that we are all too stupid to note their mendacity. Well, as the adage goes, once you tell the first lie, you have to tell more lies to cover up, and you eventually end up running rings around yourself, like the FIA, now demonstrate on a regular basis. Someone should have reminded the BBC and Slimeball of this adage, because a simple review of Benson's articles from the 12th of December robbery onwards, exposes his sliminess and the BBC's untrustworthiness. The Ros Atkins, BBC fake news clip, was first aired on the 13th of December, the day after the robbery. It relied on segments of the original interview, that the Tote had granted to another BBC fake news clip, on BBC Breakfast on that day. However, edited clips of the 13th of December interview were inserted into an updated, the 12th of December article, by Slimeball Benson titled, "Max Verstappen Wins Title After Last Lap Overtake of Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes Protests Rejected." The first Slimeball article on the 12th of December was titled, "Max Verstappen Wins Title After Last Lap Overtake of Lewis Hamilton," and did not, and could not, have included the 13th of December clip. However, the 12th of December article was updated to include the 13th of December clip, and the rejected Mercedes protest, without stating that it had been updated as is the practice with more reputable online reporting. From the outset, BBC's official line on its reporting of Abu Dhabi was to represent that the first lap incident, when Max tried to run Lewis off the track, or cause a collision, was controversial because Marcy did not penalise Lewis for going off track and retaining his position. This is the first evidence of bias, because a balanced approach would also have registered the counter-narrative that the incident could be seen as Marcy not penalising Max for attempting to run Lewis off the road, or cause a crash, as had been widely speculated in the media. Throughout most of its coverage, BBC equated Marcy's first lap decision, which they represented as controversially favouring Lewis, with the last lap engineering which favoured Verstappen. Equating a decision which the referee was entitled to make with one that he was not entitled to make, as if they cancel each other out, is fake news and propaganda. To underscore how slimy Slimeball is, in two different articles on the 12th of December, he covered both angles of the first lap incident. In one article, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Max Verstappen's win decided by a questionable call, he described Max as aggressively forcing Lewis off the track, and in another, titled, "Max Verstappen Wins Title After Last Lap Overtake of Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes Protests Rejected," he makes no reference to Max's aggression, and only wrote about Lewis going off track to retain his position. This was the line that the BBC carried going forward. The Slimeball repeatedly misinformed the public, and reversed himself on many occasions during his reporting. To start with, on the 12th of December, he wrongly reported that Marcy's initial decision to not allow lapped cars to unlap themselves was against normal protocol. On the 11th of January, he reversed himself, in an article titled, "Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes driver to decide on F1 future after Abu Dhabi inquiry." To compound his duplicity, in the Ros Atkins fake news clip of the 13th of December, Slimeball claimed that the regulations did not cover that specific situation. However, on the 12th of December, he had claimed that the decision to recall the safety car in on the same lap that the 5 cars between Lewis and Max were allowed to unlap themselves was in breach of the regulations. Throughout his coverage leading up to the 11th of January, Slimeball and the BBC lent credence to the false narrative that there was legitimate confusion over whether Marcy was allowed to override existing regulations at will. However, on the 11th of January, in the wake of unrelenting public outrage, expressed mainly on social media, the BBC and Slimeball suddenly declared that Marcy had been wrong to allow only the cars between Lewis and Max to unlap themselves, and then call the safety car in on that same lap. So, for almost 1 month, the BBC and Slimeball not only provided the likes of David the Toad Coulthard with the platform to propagate lies about Marcy's right to rig, they themselves, by omission or commission, exacerbated the lies, contrary to their self-proclamation of being a trusted source of news and champion fact-checker. in the front line against the dangers of fake news and misinformation. By our latest count, the BBC produced 2 news segments, and at least 9 news articles, propagating the Toad's lies. We have been unable to find any news articles, highlighting pundits debunking the Toad's lies, and only 1 news segment, giving a minor role to one pundit debunking the lies, while totally gaslighting another. Was this due to a systemic failure in editorial standards, or willful propagation of fake news?